but it's such a beautiful day here in Morgantown. I was asked earlier if I was in charge of weather, and I wasn't very bright. I said no, but we will take the weather. I really appreciate you all coming out for this really momentous event. I'm Russ Rogerson. I'm President and CEO of the Morgantown Area Partnership. This particular project is primarily a Mon County Development Authority project. But as you know, the partnership has the Chamber, the Development Authority, Main Street Morgantown, Campus Neighborhoods Revitalization Corporation, and even the old marketing arm for the Development Authority is part of our collective group that has their own individual boards, but they work all under the umbrella, and I really tell you, it has spurred collaboration. And this project's about collaboration. I think you're going to see from the individuals we have up here and moving forward how it takes this kind of collaboration to make this kind of a project work. But here today, we are to celebrate the kickoff of the demolition contract being awarded and demolition going to begin. I have a few dignitaries. Yep. Yeah. Please. Yes. Yeah. We've been working on this project for 3.5 years, and so this is really where the project starts. Demolition gives us a greenfield. Greenfields allows our developer to have time, delivery time, understanding, be able to put contracts together, recruit users, and really make this thing work. So really the effort's going to be moving forward with the Biaforas and their group, East End Village, and so you'll hear from Dave here in a little bit. But let me first introduce each one of our guests, let them say a few words, and then we'll talk a little bit about the project, a little bit about the demolition process, which the city played a very important role in. And then we're going to do some photo opportunities for our honored guests. And anybody that after that wants to get into a photo with our fancy sledgehammers, we're more than welcome you to that. So first of all, I'd like to introduce the mayor of Morgantown, Mr. Joe.
Thank you very much, Russ. I guess I should start with saying I used to live in one of these apartments just a couple rows down, and this is the first time I've seen this many people in this area with the sun still up and the music not so loud. So this is a huge change of pace over the last 20 years for me. I would also, I have my notes right here, so just to be clear, I'm not checking for text messages. I am a teacher. I find myself yelling at students about that stuff all the time. I also would like to take a moment, and the first thing is I would like to thank everybody that is here from the County Commission and the University and the Biaforas and the Morgantown Area Partnership and everybody involved in creating such a massive project happen. I know that collaboration is never really easy, and to get everybody in line and in order sometimes seems to take forever. I know that this was discussed when I was first put on council years ago. This is, let's see, go through my notes now. From the 9.5 acres being transitioned into a vibrant community area, this is really important for our city of Morgantown and the vision that we have moving forward. It's important to also look at the economic outgrowth, the economic growth we will have from this as it relates to the job creation from our constructions and boosting our local businesses and entrepreneurship. The benefits of having more local living spaces for our community, as well as the partnership and the vision in making this project reality, has been a massive undertaking, and I'm greatly appreciative for everybody and their part in this. In regards to the future, we look forward to what is going to become the new cornerstone of our Morgantown development and the East End Village. And again, I will keep mine brief because I'm sure it is getting warm. I would also again like to thank everybody again for coming out here today and express my sincerest gratitude for having me be a part of this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. The reason these individuals are up here because they represent the key collaborative group that we started with. They shared the vision, the vision that you'll see and hear more about the impact of this project. And from the very beginning, they not only shared the vision, but they also helped us in many ways, one of which, not the least, financially. So that's an important process. Next is Commissioner Tom Bloom, and as you read in the paper, the Commission's been very active in this. And Tom, would you please say a little bit about the project from your perspective?
Thank you very much. On behalf of the County Commissioners, Jeff Arnett, Sean Sikora could not be here, and myself, we're very excited to be here. But I think we have to stop for one moment and take a picture. When is the last time you would see the city, the county, WVU, and Dave Biafora sitting down at the same time all working together? That is the difference of where we've come from. That is the big difference. And this, really, give a hand. And Dave, we really appreciate this because everybody had to work together to get to this point. On November 18, 2020, the Commission entered into an unprecedented collaboration agreement with WVU, the Development Authority, and the City of Morgantown. And what we decided and what we saw was a vision that everyone's been talking about. And I always say talk is cheap, action speaks louder than words. And today is a result of everyone working together and coming together to come up with a great solution. Now, what had happened was the Monongalia County Development Authority had taken a loan out, and unfortunately, it had a significant drain on the resources. So what the city and the county did on the basis that Russ Rogerson promised that we would work together, and we did. And I mean, give a lot of credit to Russ Rogerson because he pulled this all together. I really want you to know that. Yeah. We each put $500,000 aside, and it's put away for $1 million just to be used if it's needed. The key is look around this area. This is going to change downtown Morgantown, the vision of Morgantown, the concept of Monongalia County. And both the city and the county have contributed significantly to this project. I just want to say that this is an extremely important project for the city, for WVU, and for the county commissioners. And we're proud to roll up our sleeves, use this after we beat Penn State, and then we'll move on.
Thanks, Tom. One of the unique features of this particular piece of property is, yes, it's 9.5 acres, but you can tell by just looking across the road, its proximity to the downtown campus at WVU. And if you know much about President Gee, he knows how to create communities, has a long history of doing that, and he saw the vision right away. So he was a supporter right out of the gate. And President Gee, please tell us a little bit about your thoughts.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm really depressed. You know, I'm retiring in less than a year, and I was going to rent one of these houses. And now, Dave, you're going to tear them down. You're always in my grill. You know that, David. I'm really irritated with you. So anyway, I want to just say a couple of quick things. First of all, the power of partnership is the power of making the possible happen. And this is really a wonderful example of partnership. The city has not always had great partnerships. It is right now. We're working very closely together, Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Biafora, and obviously Russ Rogerson is making all this happen. I think he has pictures of all of us in compromising positions. I have no idea, but nonetheless, we are so grateful that the university can be part of this. This will make a huge difference for our students, for our faculty, our staff, but it will make a huge difference for the community. No university is more entwined and more cheek to jowl with this community than is West Virginia University and the City of Morgantown. So this is a great day for us, and I'm really grateful, and I appreciate everyone being here. And thank you very much, Russ.
Although I appreciate the kind words about me as an individual, but I see about 30 people standing around here that we wouldn't be here today without. So what I really appreciate is that spirit of cooperation, the willingness to listen, and willingness to take on some very difficult challenges. Speaking of challenges, what this represents, the demolition of these homes, some 57 structures, and Ricky will tell you a little more detail about that, means that we finally get to take the handcuffs off of Mr. Biafora so he can move forward with what he does well. You know him throughout the community and the quality, he and his brother Rick, quality projects that they performed. So we couldn't have a stronger development partner for this project than Dave Biafora. Dave? Also, I'm not going to shake his hand. I'm going to hand the keys to the project because it's his turn, and I have the greatest confidence.
Thank you, everyone. This is something taking a long time, but I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes. It all started with Mr. Giuliani and the friendship we've had in our families for years, and been through good times and bad times. But Jim's getting up in retirement life, and things were just tough around here. So, he said, "What can we do? What can we do?" And whenever it was time to step up, I can't even name everybody. As Russ said, 30 people. There's not one person that made this happen. It started with Jim and his vision many, many years ago with his family. If it wasn't for City Council, if it wasn't for Russ, if it wasn't for President Gee, if it wasn't for Ron Justice, Dave Satterfield, all the meetings, Mark Keppel, my brother, listening to what young people, my son, my nephews, that went to school here, and just everybody in the community, what they're really looking for and what we need. And we'll take any ideas and believe what's going to be here. Hopefully, it turns out like most of my brother and I's projects, our family projects that we have in trust, that it'll just come out much better than we ever even dreamed or planned. Throughout Morgantown and 6 cities in the state and in Pennsylvania. So we're proud to be here, and we would not be here without everybody standing behind us, with us, and for us. And thank you all very much.
So you pick it up on the theme, how many people, groups, efforts it takes to do significant things of good in our community. And that is probably the one thing that we want everybody to remember. We must continue that type of effort to continue to make Morgantown the best place it could possibly be. And it's good, but we want to go great. So let's stay focused on that. And really, the work's just beginning. The Development Authority, the Monongalia County Development Authority is the organization for which gets the privilege of holding all the debt on this place and leading the project forward. So not an easy lift, and not necessarily in the wheelhouse of the Development Authority. We've been traditionally business park type organizations, so when this opportunity came forward as a board, they just agreed that you cannot do it, right, Ron? And of course, the reason why this opportunity to purchase 9.5 acres of land, James, don't walk away, it was because James Giuliani put this together over the years, and to have 9.5 acres of continuous property really was the first step. We couldn't be here without this piece of land all being put together. So thank you, James. Now we want to introduce Ron Justice. Everyone knows Ron. If you don't, you need to meet Ron. Ron is just really done a lot of great work in our community. He has been really the lead on this project from the Development Authority perspective, and without his wisdom, guidance, and effort, we wouldn't be here today. So, Ron, you talk a little bit about the project.
Thank you. Before I do that, all of you are involved in some way, but I want to give a big shout out to Pat Martin. He led our Development Authority as we started. Kim Moyers couldn't be here today, but Kim is leading us now, and I want to thank them. But literally, we could thank all of you. All of you have touched this project in some way. And Russ summed it up best. This is not in the Development Authority's wheelhouse. The opportunity is great. The risk is large. But what the reward can be at the end outweighs it all. And that's what we got to stay focused on. And the only way that we can make this happen is to use and work with our partners together. And so as we approach moving forward, and we are celebrating today the demolition, we will be celebrating soon a groundbreaking. But all that has taken a lot of behind-the-scenes work and planning from so many people that honestly I cannot name. I mean, and we have looked at different things. I can remember Danielle and John, we were at a neighborhood meeting and said, we're going to do a planned unit development, and got with the neighborhood, and they said, well, maybe we ought to do something smaller or different. And we went back to the drawing board. We worked with Ricky. So there has been a lot that has happened. Now, the opportunity that we have here is we can potentially have the biggest private investment project that's ever happened in Morgantown. Number two, we could potentially have a TIF project that will lead the state of West Virginia, because this is already part of a TIF district. And number three, we can be proud of a legacy that all of us can have with this project. And we just got to go straight forward and look at, there can't be anything that can stand in our way. We can overcome anything, and we'll get this done. Without that, I would be remiss again to not thank all of our partners and the leadership that you've given us, because it has been outstanding. We don't always agree on everything, and sometimes our idea is not the best, but we work through and get through things. Now, I can tell you a story. David here, when I was mayor, true story, we had just put in cable television, and you could watch our council meetings on television. And one night he comes down and he yells at me, and he's yelled at me a lot. I've yelled back some, but what ended up happening, I talked to his wife, and she said, here's what happened. We were watching, I was upstairs and he was downstairs. I was watching television, and next thing I know, I heard his voice, and he was on television. He had ran out of the house to come and yell at me. So if I can survive that, trust me, we will survive anything in this project. So just in closing, again, I can't thank all of you enough. We can't share the vision enough. Cinder Oliverio and I were here in the 80s, and this is going to be a lot different, Cinder, than what we experienced. And I'm going to need your leadership to help us as we move forward. But to City Council, please raise your hand if you're on City Council and here today. And you have been outstanding. Our County Commission, they have been outstanding. Please, if you're with MAP, raise your hand. With the Development Authority, raise your hand. With the city, raise your hand. With the press, raise your hand. Now, we've covered almost everyone. But what I'm going to close with is I want to thank two people. One is James and I have been long-term friends, and I appreciate his vision of putting all this together and making this happen to give us the opportunity to go forward. Secondly, Randy Williams and United Bank have been steadfast partners with us from the get-go on this. And Randy, I can't thank you enough. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know it takes money, right? So we appreciate that, and we appreciate the commitment of all. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Russ and just say, on behalf of the Development Authority, we're very proud to be part of this project.
Well said, Ron. So what's this project we're talking about? Well, it really kind of starts today. And I'm going to ask Ricky Yeager from the city to come up and tell you what's going to happen next. You can't have a project with these structures on it. We must have a greenfield site. And the city's commitment to use pay-as-you-go tip funds to make this happen is a huge jumpstart towards us getting this project started. So with that, I'm going to ask Ricky to tell you a little bit about the demo project, what you're going to see maybe over the next 3 months, and introduce our demo team, right? All right, great, Ricky.
Thank you, Russ, and thank you all for being here today. I'd like to start off with some... Oh, I'm good. I'd like to start off with some thank yous. Just want to start off with some thank yous to many people that have touched this project. As I said before, City Manager Haas, Assistant City Manager Mazzarelli, and Morgantown City Council for all their guidance and support throughout this process. I would also like to thank our team who has worked diligently behind the scenes to get us where we are today in the demolition process. A special thanks to Drew Canis, Barb Morgan, and Damian Davis, and the many team members who have dedicated so many hours to planning for and preparing the bid documents for the demolition project. As Russ alluded to, in the coming weeks and months, we will see a flurry of activity and some trucks going by. We will see a flurry of activity in the coming months as utilities are marked and disconnected and Reclaim, our contractor for the project, begins to mobilize equipment in the area. In the end, 58 structures will be demolished and the land restored for future development in the next 180 days. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the MCBA, Mr. Biafora, and all the stakeholders here for their vision and commitment to this project. Opportunities to redevelop attractive land like this in our city's core and next to our flagship university don't come by every day, and yet are so important to reinvigorating communities like ours that are nearly built out. Our team looks forward to continuing to work with all of you to bring the East End Village to fruition. And now I'd like to ask Andy Emery with Reclaim Company to say a few words and next steps. Thank you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Imagine everybody's getting hot by now. The good news is I don't have much, so it'll be brief. My name is Andy Emery, as Ricky said. Okay, let me move on over here. There's a lot of cords and stuff over here. So. All right, so Andy with Reclaim Company. I'm a native son of Morgantown. Born and raised here. Born and raised here in Morgantown, native son. Graduate of WVU, so I personally am very happy to be involved in this project. On behalf of my company, we are very, very, very happy. We are honored to be a part of this project. We love working for the city and cleaning up the community. We look forward to the development that follows our demolition, and we look forward to being a part of this project. Thank you all for having me here and dealing with my microphone issues. There you go, Russ.
Thank you. So what's all this effort about? It's about creating, we estimate somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million worth of development on this property at full build out. And not only just development that really provides additional services, living opportunities, walkability, connectivity, really one of those developments you look at and you say, oh, I'm glad that's in my community. And so with that, to tell us a little bit more about moving forward with the actual development is going to be Jay Rogers. Mark Keppel, you need to come up here too. You've been too involved in this. At least stand there. Come on. Tell you a little bit about this. And this is an area where you'll hear more and more about as we move forward on the project while the demolition is taking place. So Jay is with Omni and Associates, the architect of record for this project, and Mark is with the you guys are calling this East End Village, right? East End Village Corporation that was formed specifically to work on this project. So Mark Keppel.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Keppel. I'm trained as a lawyer, so typically what you would do in this circumstance is give some brilliant summation about what's going to be happening on this property, and we're going to see all these things taken down and make all these promises, and then we're going to ask you to come and support us. Well, it turns out that I think someone who's actually an expert in this kind of thing would be the most appropriate to give that discussion. We've already heard from Mr. Biafora from our team, and he really is the overall visionary who can provide us with the guidance, the experience. His team, his family, Alex Biafora, Ricky Biafora, Joseph Biafora, his brother Rick Biafora, all are truly committed to this community and have made this really possible in conjunction with everything that we've heard. But getting to the expert witness for this presentation is Jay Rogers. Jay's company is Omni Architect out of Fairmont. They do just wonderful design work, wonderful architectural planning, and maybe the most important skill is they can put up with people like me and people like Dave. So without any further ado, here's Jay Rogers.
Wow. Thank you, Mark. As he said, my name's Jay Rogers. I'm a principal at Omni. One of the things that's ironic is, as we have mentioned James, I left city government in 2015, came to work at Omni, and the first project that I worked on was to meet with James Giuliani up at the old red building and take a look at 9.5 acres and try to figure out how to master plan that. And to be here today in this step and to still have James, to be here to see this vision is really coming full circle. I too am a double graduate of WVU, so spent many times walking up and down through these hills, and now my job is being part of this master plan is to figure out how to make it a little more walkable than it was back in the 80s. We look forward to continuing to work with our partners, the community, in delivering a project, as Russ said, that provides livability, walkability, residential, mixed use, some commercial and entertainment uses for this area. One of the things that we're known for at Omni is working collaboratively with our partners and exceeding expectations with our design. We've had a great partnership with the Biafora family and delivered many of projects from Suncrest Town Center to our most recent at the Middletown Commons. We have no reason to believe that this won't be one that we'll look back and just put in the portfolio as another excellent example of the work that we've all been able to do together. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. I know it's hot. I know you've been out for a long time, and we're going to wrap up here, but I can't say enough to the people out here. I mean, if I would recognize each of you for your contributions, I think I'd be speaking with 99% of the people standing here today. So if we left anybody out, we greatly apologize for that. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for what's to come. And Woodburn neighborhood, our goal is to also make this a better place for you all. And we have not and will not forget that. So team effort, we'll keep marching forward. Hopefully the next time we see you all is during the groundbreaking. And so with that, let's just give one more big round of applause for these folks up here at the head table and for yourselves. You want to wrap up? Okay. All right. So Ron doesn't want to be the guy to wrap up because he doesn't want to get blamed for dragging this out too long. So with all that, we are completed with our celebration. We will take our first picture with our dais here with hard hats and the sledgehammers. And then again, any other group that wants, I'd love to get council, I'd love to get city employees, I'd love to get the whole Biafora family. We'll get you and we'll get some shots because this is the most memorable event in this project, and one of which will have many more to come. So thank you very much for being here today. Appreciate it.